I've been asked if I do sketches before I do any of my work, and so I thought maybe tonight I would give you a tour of my notebook. I've got a running notebook of all of the projects and orders that I've done since I opened up my business, and then this is 2024, like the current things. This is the one that I have on me if I go to talk to somebody about a job. Then there are the archives. This is as organized as I get. And what I want to say for certain, it's going to take 2 videos because my brain works differently for 3-dimensional projects and 2-dimensional projects. I am far better at conceptualizing a sculpture. If you tell me something that you want, I can render it in 3D and turn it around in my head and build it the way I see it in my head. 2-dimensional things are another matter. So for instance, my cards, my linocuts. Something flat and creative that I have to make, not pet portraits, not something that someone gives me to do my own stylized interpretation on. I can do that. But I need help from technology when I do stuff like this. I've got scads of ways of rationalizing it, having to do with the greatest artists of all time too, but I will be sourcing people's opinions when I do that. Tonight I just want to show you some sketches that are in my notes. I feel like I have got far more sketches that never see the light of day for anything than I do that actually get into jobs. And then some I get on jobs from people who think that they want me to do something, but when they see what I have in mind or what I'm going to charge, they're like, maybe later. Starting out in 2022 are the roses that I was selling like crazy for about a month. I've actually got a template. If you order a rose from me and you tell me what you want, I show it to you on paper first. And I've got side views. They told me what they wanted, and so I sent pictures, and then I also sent process photos. If you order a fairly substantial project from me, I'm probably going to be emailing you several times. I'm sure people in the comments can tell you because I agonize over, is this what you wanted? Is this the direction you wanted to go in? Also, if you email me telling me what a nice job I did and how much you love, I print it out and put it in my notes. If you send me a picture of your loved one, I probably put that in my notes too. Gives me a warm fuzzy. This is a sketch I did of the commission of the tiny little figurine of a guy who owns a roofing company and also builds skateboards and also is the mayor of his town. Here's all the stuff from that one railing that I made. Somebody ordered this cool little key from me with her initial and a paper airplane on it, so this is what I sketched up while I was talking to her while she was giving me the order. This is that tree thing that I'm working on. They supplied me with this. They told me what they wanted. I kind of had an idea and I was sketching it out, and then they supplied me with exactly what they wanted. So customer supplied, wants this version. This is the trophy for this year's Smoke on the Water. That is just a reminder of what last year's looked like. And this is what I started with for what I built this year. Here are concepts for that winery railing that I did. With some notes. And recently I had a woman reach out and say that she wanted me to build an armature so that she could do like woven willows around it. I guess they're popular over in England or Europe somewhere where you can weave willows into sculptures, like you've probably seen the prefab deer that they sell at the stores. And she wanted a woman with a skirt to go over her compost pile with her hands in a gesture as though she is offering. She wanted like a 7-foot tall steel armature so that she could weave willows into it. And I thought she wanted like a real armature with a whole bunch of things that you could weave in and out so the thing would look like a basket when you're done with it. As it turns out, it wasn't at all what she wanted. So I spent a whole lot of time trying to design this thing. When we met up, I was really glad that she gave me her idea first because it was a lot simpler. And I'm like, you know what, I can do this. I was starting to get worried with what I had drawn up. I actually have a ton more sketches than that. I don't know where they went. Sometimes, I bet they're in my shop. They often get burned up. Some of my sketches get burned up in my shop. Oh, and I'll show the photo I used for Razorbun's little statue too. So my 3-dimensional stuff, I'm pretty good at conceptualizing in my head and then putting down on paper, but 2-dimensional stuff can be a real challenge for me. I remember my geometry teacher saying something in high school about some people are just 2-dimensional and some people are 3-dimensional. Like there are some people who look at those like 3D drawings of a cube on the paper and they just see a flat rendering of a cube, and then some people almost see it like float up off the page and rotate in front of their face. And I never forgot that. He said that when I was probably about 15, and I'm like, yeah, I see them float up and rotate. I had a student when I was a welding instructor. Oh, he was so much trouble, but he was so good at, he was building this jet. He had this idea in his head that he wanted to build a little model jet. And when I came over, he had all these weird little pieces cut up. I'm like, what are you doing, man? You told me that you were going to build a plane. He's like, I am. And he starts putting all these pieces together. He had sliced it and then, without doing any drawing, started building the individual pieces so that he could weld them together into a three-dimensional form. For a high schooler, I thought that was really good. Zero training. I feel like I'm not at that level. I might be at that level now, but it's trained. I've trained myself. It's practiced. I'm not, that wasn't a natural thing for me. I feel like with some actual art classes, I might be an artist someday.